Welcome to Starlight and Secrets of the Winterwood Cabin, a gentle and enchanting audiobook designed to guide you toward a restful and peaceful sleep. If you enjoy this story and would like to hear more content like this, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tranquil narratives. Before we embark on our journey to the cozy Winterwood Cabin, we will start with a brief breathing guidance to help you unwind and prepare for the story ahead. If you prefer to skip directly to the story, you can find the timestamps for each chapter in the description below the video. The story will take you to a peaceful cabin in a snowy forest, where ancient mysteries and starlight magic await to soothe you into deep rest. Now, let's settle into a comfortable position, allowing your body to become heavy and relaxed, supported by your bed. Feel the softness of your blankets around you, creating a safe and cozy space. Let go of the day's worries and allow your mind to become still and quiet. This is your time to slow down and welcome a state of calm into your evening. Allow the gentle sounds and imagery of our story to wash over you, guiding you into a state of deep, tranquil relaxation. Let's take a deep, soothing breath together. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, feeling the cool air flow gently into your lungs. Then, exhale just as slowly and calmly through your mouth, allowing the air to flow out naturally like a soft sigh. With each breath, imagine you are releasing any tension in your body. Picture yourself nestled in a cozy chair by the fire within the Winterwood Cabin. You are safe and warm. Imagine the soft glow of starlight illuminating the room, creating a sense of peace. Let these images fill you with tranquility. As you breathe, you may notice a few passing thoughts, and that is okay. Allow them to drift by gently, like snowflakes falling on a peaceful forest, and gently return your attention to your breath and my voice. There is nothing you need to do but listen and let the story guide you. Feel the rhythmic swish of the snow and the soft hum of the starlight as we enter the heart of the forest. Let these sounds carry your worries away, filling you with peace. As you breathe with me, feel yourself becoming one with the calm. And ready to begin. And now, let us journey into the Winterwood Cabin. Chapter 1. Arrival in the Silent Woods. The late afternoon sun, a pale and gentle disk, cast long, soft shadows across the snow-covered forest as Caspian made his way deeper into the woods. Each step crunched lightly on the fresh snow, the sound a soft counterpoint to the stillness of the winter landscape. The air was crisp and cool, carrying a faint scent of pine and the promise of a quiet evening. He pulled his thick wool scarf tighter around his neck, his breath creating small, fleeting clouds in the cold air. Caspian's journey had been long, not in distance, but in the time he had spent away from the quiet of the natural world. He felt a familiar weariness, not of the body, but of the spirit, and sought solace in the simplicity of the woods. Ahead, nestled amongst the tall, snow-laden pines, he spotted it. The Winterwood Cabin, a small and unassuming structure, seemed to exhale a gentle breath of welcome. Its dark wooden walls were aged and weathered, and the roof was blanketed in a thick layer of fresh snow, almost as if nature itself had tried to tuck the cabin in for the night. A single chimney released a soft plume of smoke into the air, a silent promise of warmth. and sanctuary. Caspian felt a sense of peace wash over him, an undeniable sense that he had finally reached his destination. The weariness of his journey faded as he approached the small, wooden door, its handle crafted from a piece of polished driftwood. With a soft creak, the door opened inward, revealing a small, cozy interior. A warm and inviting glow spilled out, the soft light of a fire dancing in the hearth. Caspian stepped inside, leaving the cold of the forest behind and allowing the warmth to embrace him like a gentle hug. The room was simple but comforting. A wooden table stood in the center, draped with a soft woven cloth, while a rocking chair sat invitingly by the fire, draped with a hand-knitted blanket. A small bookcase filled with well-loved tomes stood against one wall. The air was filled with a gentle scent of burning wood and a subtle hint of lavender. It was a space that seemed to whisper of quiet days and peaceful nights. Caspian carefully placed his small satchel by the door and removed his heavy coat. He moved closer to the fire, extending his hands to receive its warmth, the gentle heat slowly dissolving the lingering chill from the cold of the forest. As he did, he noticed a soft shimmering glow within the cabin's walls, almost imperceptible, but present nonetheless. It was a soft starlight light that seemed to hum with a gentle energy. He found a small stool and sat near the fire, watching as the flames danced merrily. The soft crackling of the wood, the gentle swish of the snow falling outside, and the quiet glow of the cabin began to settle him, inviting a sense of calm he had long sought. He rose slowly, his body still stiff from the long journey, and moved over to the small bookcase. His fingers traced the spines of each book, feeling the soft leather and old parchment. He selected one of the older books, its pages yellowed with age, and returned to his stool by the fire. He opened it gently, and a soft rustling sound filled the small space. The words on the page seemed to dance in the firelight, each letter inviting his gaze and his mind to slow. He started to read, the words washing over him, not for information but for their sound and texture. The sun had now set, and the room was bathed only in the soft glow of the fire and the subtle starlight within the cabin. Caspian pulled a small kettle from his satchel, placing it near the fire to heat. As the water warmed, he found a small sachet of herbal tea, its fragrance a blend of chamomile and lavender. The scent filled the cabin, adding another layer of comfort to the space. He poured himself a cup, cupping his hands around the warm mug, feeling the gentle heat spread through him. He savored each sip, watching the soft dance of the flames and listening to the quiet of the cabin. He moved to the rocking chair and sank into its soft embrace, drawing the blanket around him. He began to rock gently, the rhythmic motion adding to the calming ambience of the space. Through the small circular windows, he could see the soft glow of the moon illuminating the snow-covered forest. The gentle swish of the snow falling seemed to lull him into a state of deep peace. He closed his eyes, taking a slow, deep breath, and noticed the small, subtle details of the room. The soft crackling of the fire, the gentle hum of starlight, the distant hoot of an owl. All these sounds and details gently pulled him further into relaxation. He let his mind slow down, allowing the worries of the day to gently drift away like snowflakes carried on the breeze. The quiet of the Winterwood cabin wrapped around him like a warm blanket. As Caspian continued to rock gently, the first hints of sleep began to tug at his eyelids. The starlight within the cabin seemed to grow a little stronger, its soft glow cradling him in a feeling of profound serenity. He was finally home. Chapter 2. Whispers on the Wind. The soft light of dawn filtered gently through the small, circular windows of the Winterwood cabin, painting the snow-covered landscape in shades of pale blue and soft pink. Caspian awoke slowly, the gentle warmth of the fire still lingering in the room. He stretched languidly, his muscles feeling relaxed and at ease, the deep slumber of the night having refreshed him completely. The scent of pine and wood smoke filled the air, a comforting aroma that seemed to invite him into the day. He rose from the rocking chair where he had drifted off to sleep the night before and moved toward the window, peering out at the tranquil winter scene. The world outside seemed to be holding its breath, a hushed silence falling over everything. As he gazed out, he noticed the wind rustling through the pine trees, its soft whispers seeming to carry a melody of ancient tales. He opened the window just a crack, allowing the cool, crisp air to fill the cabin. The sound of the wind, a gentle whoosh, seemed to speak directly to him, the soft whispers dancing around him, teasing his curiosity. He noticed, too, that as the wind brushed past the cabin, a soft, almost imperceptible shimmer of starlight seemed to emanate from the walls, as though the wind itself had awakened the magic within. The combination of the cool air and the mysterious sounds invited him to explore the cabin more closely. He turned his attention back to the small bookcase, his fingers tracing the spines of the ancient tomes once more. He selected another book, its cover made of soft, aged leather, and returned to his seat by the fire. As he opened the book, he noticed that the pages were filled with intricate illustrations of stars and constellations, each one meticulously drawn with delicate strokes. The book spoke of a time when the stars were closer to the earth, and their light had a more profound influence on the world. He realized, with a gentle sense of wonder, that the cabin seemed to have a deep connection to the celestial bodies. As he turned the pages, he heard a soft melodic hum coming from within the walls of the cabin, a subtle celestial resonance that seemed to vibrate with a quiet energy. He tilted his head, listening carefully, and noticed that the hum seemed to respond to the wind, becoming slightly louder when the wind whispered through the trees outside. It was as if the cabin itself was an instrument played by the wind, and its melodies were connected to the cosmos. He gently closed the book and moved closer to the wall, pressing his ear softly against the old wood. He could feel a slight vibration, a tangible sense of the magic that lived within the cabin. He spent some time exploring the interior of the cabin, each detail revealing more about its history. He found a small wooden chest tucked away in a corner, and he lifted the lid gently. Inside, he discovered a collection of old maps and charts, each one depicting the night sky. The constellations were drawn with great detail, and there were handwritten notes alongside, speaking of the magic of the stars and the power of their light. He realized that the cabin was not just a place of shelter, but a repository of ancient knowledge, a place where the secrets of the cosmos had been preserved over time. As he pondered over the charts, he felt a subtle shift in the air, a gentle presence that seemed to enter the cabin. It was a whisper, as soft as the falling snow, and he turned towards the window. He saw the trees outside moving almost imperceptibly, and he realized that something or someone was near. A gentle rustling in the trees, like silk brushing against a leaf, filled the silence. He felt no fear, only a sense of gentle curiosity. The feeling was akin to welcoming a friend. He moved towards the fireplace, stirring the embers softly and adding a few pieces of wood. The flames danced and flickered, their light illuminating the cabin in a warm, inviting glow. He sat back in the rocking chair and began to gently sway back and forth, taking deep, calming breaths. As he rocked, he noticed a subtle shimmering in the air, almost as if stardust had begun to swirl within the room. He closed his eyes, allowing himself to be enveloped by the sounds of the cabin and the sense of wonder that filled the space. He could feel the presence around him becoming stronger, yet more gentle and welcoming. He let the rhythm of the cabin and its magic fill his senses, the soft hum of the starlight, the whisper of the wind, and the distant rustling of the trees guiding him toward a state of deep relaxation. As he continued to rock, he began to feel a sense of connectedness, a feeling that he was not alone and that he was part of something greater than himself. A gentle sense of peace washed over him, and he felt a deep knowing that he was on the right path, that the Winterwood Cabin held exactly what he sought. Chapter 3. The Dance of the Snowflakes. The day outside dawned crisp and clear, the sky a pale, tranquil blue. The snow that had fallen overnight lay undisturbed, sparkling like 1,000 tiny diamonds under the soft morning light. Inside the Winterwood Cabin, Caspian felt a gentle sense of anticipation, a quiet excitement about what the day might bring. After a light breakfast of warm tea and a piece of simple bread, he decided to step outside and observe the winter landscape more closely. He pulled on his heavy coat, his scarf, and his gloves, and opened the door, allowing the cool, refreshing air to fill the cabin before stepping out into the peaceful quiet of the forest. As he stepped outside, the gentle silence of the forest seemed to embrace him. The only sounds were the occasional soft swish of snowflakes falling from the pine branches and the distant call of a winter bird. He walked a short distance from the cabin and found a small, clear space where the snow lay undisturbed. He sat down on a small, snow-covered log and gazed up at the sky. He felt a stillness within him, a sense of peace that had been growing stronger since his arrival. He noticed that the snowflakes were falling differently than they had the day before. Today they seemed to dance and twirl as they descended, each one a unique and intricate work of art. He extended his hand, palm upwards, and watched as the snowflakes landed gently on his glove. Each one was a delicate six-pointed star, a perfect miniature of the celestial bodies he had read about in the cabin. He felt a gentle sense of awe as he observed their patterns, the way they formed and dissolved, carried by the soft wind. As each snowflake touched the fabric, he noticed a subtle shimmering on his glove, as if a tiny spark of light had been released. He began to understand the connection between the snow and the starlight. Each snowflake seemed to carry a fragment of the cosmos within it. He spent a long time observing the snowflakes, losing himself in their dance. He noticed that as each snowflake landed on the roof of the cabin, a subtle light would pulse within the cabin, almost like a gentle heartbeat. He returned to the cabin and watched from the window, confirming his observation, his mind in a state of deep, calm fascination. The more he observed, the more he felt a growing sense of understanding. The snowflakes were not just water crystals, they were tiny messengers, carrying fragments of stories from the sky to the earth, revealing the secrets of the universe. He moved to the hearth and added more wood to the fire, and as the flames grew stronger, he felt the cabin filling with its warm, inviting glow. He poured himself a cup of tea, allowing the gentle steam to rise and envelop him in its warmth. He sat in his rocking chair and began to sway gently, allowing the rhythmic motion to carry him into a state of calm reflection. He closed his eyes and focused on the subtle sounds of the cabin, the crackling of the fire, the gentle hum of the starlight, and the soft swish of the snow outside, allowing them to guide him further into relaxation. As he rocked, he let his thoughts drift, allowing them to flow freely without judgment. He thought of the ancient texts he had read and the maps of the night sky. He began to understand that the secrets he sought were not to be found in old books and charts, but rather within himself. The cabin was not just a repository of knowledge. It was a place that amplified the inherent wisdom within him. He took a slow, deep breath, and as he did, he focused on the subtle light emanating from the cabin, imagining it filling his body with peace. He continued to sit and rock for a long while, letting the day unfold gently around him. He observed the shadows moving slowly across the floor and the way the light fell on the objects in the room. He noticed the subtle shifts in the sounds of the forest as the day progressed. Each moment seemed to be imbued with a quiet sense of magic, each detail inviting a deeper level of understanding. He had no need to rush or to think too hard. He felt safe, secure, and deeply at peace, knowing that he was exactly where he was meant to be. The soft, rhythmic motion of the rocking chair, the gentle crackling of the fire, and the hushed whispers of the snowflakes outside all began to blend into a soothing melody, guiding him into a state of profound calm. He felt a connection to the world around him, to the stars above, and to the magic that resonated within the Winterwood Cabin. With each breath, his mind grew quieter, his body more relaxed, and a feeling of deep, restful wisdom washed over him. Chapter 4: Unveiling the Starlight. As evening approached, the sky began to deepen into a soft indigo, and the first stars began to appear, twinkling like distant diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth. Inside the Winterwood Cabin, the starlight within seemed to grow stronger, casting a gentle, ethereal glow over everything. Caspian, sitting by the fire, felt a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a sense that the cabin was now fully alive with the ancient magic it held. The soft celestial hum that he had noticed before seemed to intensify, resonating within his very being. He felt a deep sense of anticipation, a gentle knowing that something significant was about to unfold. He rose slowly and moved to the small circular window, gazing out at the night sky. The stars seemed closer than before, brighter and more vibrant. He noticed that the patterns of the constellations mirrored the illustrations in the ancient texts, and he felt a profound connection to the celestial bodies, a sense of being a part of their grand cosmic dance. As he continued to gaze at the stars, the soft light within the cabin began to swirl, and then began to take on the form of a shimmering, ethereal presence. It was a being of light, delicate and gentle, with a voice like the soft whisper of the wind. He knew without a doubt that it was Willow, the guardian of the cabin. Willow's form shifted and flowed, resembling a soft, luminescent mist, her presence filling the cabin with a sense of profound peace. She seemed to emanate compassion and kindness, and Caspian felt a deep sense of trust, as if he had known her for a lifetime. Her voice was like the gentle rustling of leaves or the soft swish of snowflakes, and her words seemed to resonate with an ancient wisdom. She spoke of the interconnectedness of all things, the way the stars influenced the earth, and the way the human spirit was a reflection of the cosmos. Caspian listened intently, absorbing every word, feeling a sense of understanding that transcended logic and reason. As she spoke, the starlight within the cabin grew even stronger, weaving stories into the very fabric of the room. Caspian began to see visions, images of ancient forests and forgotten landscapes, of celestial beings and cosmic wonders. He felt himself traveling through time and space, moving beyond the boundaries of his own mind and senses. He experienced the creation of stars and the swirling of galaxies, and he felt a deep sense of belonging to something vast and infinite. These visions were not frightening, but rather gentle and comforting, like being held in the embrace of a loving parent. He felt Willow's presence gently guide him through this journey of self-discovery. She helped him release old fears and limiting beliefs, and she showed him the inherent goodness that resided within his heart. She showed him that the peace he sought was not to be found outside of himself, but within, in the quiet stillness of his own being. He felt himself letting go, releasing the tensions that he had been holding on to for so long. He was learning to embrace the beauty of the present moment and to trust the gentle flow of the universe. As the visions subsided, he found himself back in the cabin, the fire still softly crackling and the starlight gently illuminating the space. He was no longer the weary scholar who had arrived seeking respite. He had transformed into a being filled with a deep sense of purpose and a newfound understanding of himself and the world around him. Willow's presence remained, her soft light cradling him in a sense of profound serenity. He felt a deep gratitude for the gifts that had been bestowed upon him, for the wisdom that he had gained, and for the peace that had taken root in his heart. He moved to the rocking chair and settled in, drawing the blanket around him, and began to rock gently. He breathed slowly and deeply, focusing on the feeling of warmth from the fire, the soft glow of the starlight, and the quiet hum of the cabin. The gentle rocking motion and the comforting sounds allowed him to melt into a state of deep calm. Willow's gentle presence enveloped him, and with a soft whisper, she said that it was now time for him to embrace the gifts of the night. and to welcome the restful wisdom that awaited him. As he continued to rock, he let his mind quiet down, allowing his body to relax, and the teachings of the night to sink into his bones. The starlight within the cabin seemed to gently lull him towards sleep, a soft and comforting invitation to let go of all worries and embrace the peace of the present moment. He felt ready to receive the restful wisdom that was to come. Chapter 5. The Restful Wisdom. The final chapter begins with the soft, gentle light of dawn once again filtering through the windows of the Winterwood Cabin. Caspian awoke feeling refreshed and renewed, the memories of the previous night's journey still vivid in his mind. He stretched languidly, his body light and at ease, and he rose from the rocking chair where he had drifted off to sleep. The cabin felt different somehow, bathed in a softer light, its energy gentle and calm, imbued with a deep sense of peace. He felt the wisdom he had gained settling within him, a knowing that had permeated his very being. He moved to the window, gazing out at the snow-covered landscape. The trees stood silently, their branches laden with fresh snow, and the world seemed to be holding its breath in peaceful contemplation. He took a deep breath, filling his lungs with the cool, crisp air and the scent of pine. And as he did, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for the experience of the last few days. He had come seeking solitude, but he had found so much more. He had discovered a deep connection to the cosmos, a profound understanding of his own inner landscape, and a sense of peace that he knew would stay with him always. He moved towards the hearth and added more wood to the fire, watching as the flames danced and flickered, casting warm, inviting shadows on the walls. He felt no sense of urgency, no need to rush. He was content to simply be, to savor the moment, and to allow the day to unfold gently around him. He made himself a cup of tea and settled back into the rocking chair, drawing the blanket around him. He breathed in the warmth of the tea and savored each sip, feeling the gentle heat spread through his body. As he rocked slowly back and forth, he let his thoughts drift, allowing them to flow freely without judgment. He pondered all he had learned from Willow and the mysteries of the night, and he knew that his time in the cabin was drawing to a close. He felt a sense of readiness to return to the world, but this time carrying the wisdom of the Winterwood Cabin within his heart. He closed his eyes and focused on the feeling of the soft starlight that seemed to emanate from within the cabin, imagining it filling him with strength and peace. He spent some time in quiet contemplation, allowing the gentle rhythms of the cabin to guide him toward a state of deep relaxation. He listened to the soft crackling of the fire, the quiet hum of the starlight, and the distant whisper of the wind. He felt a deep sense of connection to the cabin and its magic, a feeling that he would carry with him always. He knew that he could return to this place whenever he needed to, not physically, but in his mind, allowing the memories of the peace that lived here to guide him. With a gentle sigh, he opened his eyes, feeling refreshed and ready to begin his day. He rose from the rocking chair and moved slowly around the cabin one last time, allowing himself to absorb all its details. He ran his fingers gently across the pages of the old books, tracing the lines of the celestial charts, feeling the smooth surface of the wooden furniture. He felt a deep appreciation for this place of solitude, this magical space where he had been guided towards a deeper understanding of himself and the universe. He gathered his few belongings and put on his heavy coat and scarf, ready for his departure. He paused for a moment at the door, feeling the gentle embrace of the cabin and the surrounding forest, as if they were offering him a final hug. He took a slow, deep breath and stepped out into the fresh, crisp air, the soft swish of the snow falling around him. The journey ahead no longer held any fear, but instead offered a gentle promise of a new beginning. He walked away from the cabin, the image of its soft, starlit glow imprinted in his mind. As he walked, he carried with him the restful wisdom of the Winterwood Cabin, a deep knowing that the peace he sought was always within him, like a soft, warm light in the darkness. He carried the gentle swish of the snow in his ears and the soft hum of the starlight in his heart, ready to embrace the gentle rhythms of life and at peace, knowing where he could always return.